Hello, this is the Minor Dave Show, and I'm going to do a rant. Facebook suppressed my emails from aimfortruth.org, and that's AIM, 4 like is the number 4, truth.org. And they suppressed it because they said it was partially true but partially false, and that I was giving out misinformation that could be harmful, and they made it so they've decided to restrict it. Normally, I appeal it, and they're quickly overturning that. Now, they're not doing that anymore because, see, they don't want the truth to get out. But let me tell you something about Mr. Whatever his name of Facebook. I don't even like saying his name. He's such a snake, right? And with the DARPA funding Facebook and the government grants that all these corporations do to data miners, and you can be on the phone and be data mined, and you don't have to be on any of them. All you have to do is be in somebody's contact list with their phone number, and they can track everything they want to do. And it's always been that way. That's why I didn't want to have to mess with this, because, see, it makes me have want to throw up. But what I like to do here is talk about the suppression and what we need to do about it. And my main topic today is never let a crisis go to waste. So when Donald Trump is reelected with the substantial majority of Americans and with a dominance in the Electoral College and the way they are in Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco, they're going to, the temper tantrum you think they had at the last one, this one's going to make them melt down. And, they're going to melt down. And so we need to be ready for this. So when Governor Newsom, Governor Kate Brown, and the governor of Washington, whatever his name is, if they're not put out of office, if they're not arrested, they're going to secede from the Republic of the United States. And this is where my plan will kick in. We'll divorce ourselves from the state. My case here in Siskiyou County, I'll divorce the state of California, and I'll start it with a granted land deed title I got to my property. And I'll withdraw it from the state of California, my consent. And I'll start consenting to the Republic of Jefferson and statehood for republic form of government for the state of Jefferson. To make Oregon come in this might be difficult. We may need to have a North Jefferson state and a South Jefferson state, so we create two of them. And we move forward at that time. But meanwhile, we need to raise money. And I'm not going to put that idea out here just yet, but until I talk to a friend, Kirby Jackson, and how we can do it, how I'll start to do it. But we may not need as much money as we want, because if we divorce the state, we're going to demand alimony and child support until we get on our feet, and we're going to make them pay us to go away, to fund our state. And I believe we can do this because, see, they're leaving the United States. They're breaking the republic form of government. And that is breach of the Constitution. And that means you could be charged with insurrection. By the way, they don't need the military to enforce that. Yes, there could be military tribunals, but basically what we'd be doing is we would be stating our objections on leaving the Republic of the United States. And we'd be just divorcing ourselves from the state, kind of like what West Virginia did in the Civil War. They broke away from Virginia because they didn't want to leave the Union. And if you look, West Virginia was the first so-called Confederate state that came back into the Union, and Virginia was the last. And so they came in, they got to come in on better favorable deals where Virginia didn't. It's still considered a commonwealth, and a commonwealth is the Commonwealth of the British Empire. They haven't gotten rid of that mentality because, see, the British have been trying to overturn us ever since. Well, did we actually win, or did they make us think we won? But they're still in charge because the British are all over trying to get Trump out of office. It was Five Eyes that was working against Donald Trump. They didn't want him because he was going to turn over the apple cart. And he's just begun. We have to reelect him if we want to get rid of the corruption. By the way, he may turn some people off. I know he does. But I know some people that never wanted to vote for him are going to vote for him. I'm hearing people that are going to vote for him, and the polls don't match because either they're weighted by 25 or 30% to Democrats versus Republicans by weighting more independents than there really are. They weight the independents too high. And so you're getting a skewed report. By the way, they may only be trying to get 1,000 responses. If they do thousands of them, they may only select 1,000 of them to fit their narrative for their poll. And so the polls are wrong. The polls they're trying to use polls to shape public opinion. Used to work, doesn't anymore. Remember, something that's a con only works for a little while until everybody catches on to the con, and then it doesn't work anymore until people forget about it and you get new generations that don't know about it. But, because there's all kinds of scammers out there. There always has been. They just can do it in the comfort of some place in China or, the Chinese have partial ownership of Zoom. Well, why do they have partial ownership of Zoom? Well, the way it works is it's really the British owns it, but they moved it to China because they would be breaking British law and they'd be breaking a treaty. They'd be breaking our laws if they did it here because it would be a crime. It would go against our constitutional government because it's subversion. It's usurpation of getting Americans to usurp our Constitution. That can't be happening, and Donald Trump is in their way. So I say, let's vote for Donald Trump. And yes, I vote for character of the people. Right now, the Democrats' character is criminal. And I know people that are Democrats that realize the Democrats are corrupt. And so they may not change the party, but they're going to vote for Donald Trump. And you should see his union support with the rank and file. From what I hear, it's off the roof. The rank and file union guys from the IBEW. More than 50% of the rank and file support Donald Trump. The reason why they do it is because they treat them like people, the electricians that's work for Donald Trump, as contractors, says he's a gentleman and a scholar, and he comes and he cares about the people that work for him. Yeah, probably not everybody, because see, if you're an executive in there, you're supposed to be a high performer. When you're putting things together that are taking a construct theory that's on paper and building it on the ground are two different things. And there's people that are really good with the paperwork, but they're no good with actually field work. And what you need is a good superintendent. And a good superintendent treats his employees like they're equals. And that's what Donald Trump does. No, he does not care about some spoiled little brat that grew up having, he grew up with wealth. He knows the brats. He knows the people. He probably went to school with a lot of those guys. He's probably been dealing with them all his life, and they can't stand it. He's always been 5 steps ahead of them. Um, he's probably got bigger capacity, more brain skills than I've seen in anybody. And because he's rich enough, he doesn't have to take any guff off anybody, right? But he's got a heart like, well, as big as Mount Everest. By the way, my surname is Everest. It's spelled in the Old English, Everist. EST is the Latin, as far as I can tell. There's several different ways to spell it in multiple languages. It all means the same. Ever is to, always is, ever ism. Anyway, so, and I trace back to a Gaulish tribe from the 5th century. So, as a man from Gaul, this explains my father. I now that my dad is dead, and I realize we're the men from Gaul. Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, twice doesn't happen to me. So, I'm hereby declaring, forming a committee to form a republic form of government for the Republic of Jefferson, statehood, with the Constitution to be superior. We need to rewrite some of it to include our modern times, and we get rid of the regulatory state. We just end it. We have county commissioners. As long as it's built to a good standard where people are not going to be injured, where you do no harm, you're going to get, it'll be a shall issue permit if a permit's required. But if you build something shoddy, well, then you're going to be held liable. You better have good insurance. I'm not going to get rid of insurance because there's things that insurance has a good purpose. But there's ways to insure people where it doesn't cost them, where they're in perpetuity loss. So what I like to do here today is get people familiar with how we're going to do it. We're going to do it by county. We're going to take our counties back by counties. We're going to do it through our county commissioners, but we're going to also do it by referendum. But we're going to do it by county. And yes, we might have to involve the courts in suing for divorce. We have to, but we have to wait until it's ripe. But we have to get it ready. We want to have all our I's and T's and legal documents all in order. This is going to take some money. It's going to take some lawyers that may have to, buck up on some of this. Yes, he needs to make an income so he can be fed. Because, see, this is a job for a team of lawyers, not just one. And we may need the lawyers from the federal government to help us. If we get our attorneys representing us, that could be the county attorney through the county commissioners, or in this case, county supervisors in Siskiyou County. I'm from Oregon originally, so we called them commissioners. Some places call them county judges. They're usually a 3 to 5 man body. Some bodies got 27 because they're such a big county and they represent them by district, by population base. Where I'm at here in Siskiyou County, we have 5 commissioners. In Oregon, you can only have 3. And 2 of them make a quorum, so they can never meet without it being a public notice. prior to.